We are coming towards the end of this forum. After he has spoken, there are 2 or 3 specific feature conversations I want you to hear. Each of them will be 2 minutes, and then we will adjourn on our way forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaye. I'll speak briefly now. Lengwa mukyakira abakongo mu Kisenyi yusifu bw'ogenda otambula bwoti kati akalogo kaba kakuzaagenda muntu saasagala mugenyi waffe ategeere abamanguye bamuyiseewo ngwa mu bakongo mu kyaki ng'engungu evuga kati pasita w'abakongo yali amanyi mu Luswayiri n'Oluganda. Kaakati ono andeetedde ng'omu Kisenyi agabonale bwagwawo amugayi bonna naye nga kyaki ejjudde n'endokumira abali bagamba sambomalamu omanyi nengamba naye wano wetugudde tuli mu ngengo balinamusika. Kaakati nga bagamba era tulina n'omubaka waffe akuweyo ekigambo kyatuwa atunuulira nti abakongo naye nensaba akalulu. Omusajja oli yagamba nti onalebonedda togaana mu bano bwe muli abakongo bano bakwana bannayuganda abalala ajja kenda mugambe nti mulondaani kakati ndabye muganda wange wano ng'ayogera ne Katamba naye Katamba alina bwamanyi mu George Town ajja okunoonyeza kati ndowooza kulabira akalulu bwe kafaanana. Era nekinzijukiza olumu nga nsembayo anaatera okumaliriza omusajja yali avuga abalabu yali avuga abalabu yali alabye mulago ng'abazaayo butabika. Bwe yali avuga abalabu bano bwe yatuuka ewandegira n'ayagala okula ku sigala ya driva. Bwe yavaamu bw'ati yagenda okusanga ng'abalabu bakoze eki bagudde oluggi lwa takisi bafulumye n'agamba ngenda kukola ntya. Kyeyakola n'ayita takisi ezidde e Bugoloobi. By then taxis to Bugoloobi tuzira Nakawa. The cost was about 700. Kati ye n'aga kikumi takisi ezidde e Bugoloobi. Abantu ba bulijjo ne bakola ki? Bwe baayingira n'aggalawo pa. Kati oluggi lw'abalabu oluggalawo bwe yalunyweza eno oba tokyasobola kweggulira. Bwe yatuuka eri n'atuuka eruzira abantu ng'avira mwawo n'akuba essimu n'agandooza bano beereeta mu bawulira wulira tambula bulu. Aye bwe baatuuka abasajja batu baabayingizanga baki nga balalu. Kakati omu eyalimu n'agamba ndowooza nze nsirike siwoganani ate era sirika nabagamba mukulaludda bakuba empiso nga nkangu. So mutusabasire tubadde batuvuga naye nga boogera ku bulegi nga bannange bakuba mu ngalo wali ne ngamba bano be baayingira takisi ya bundi oba tubabalire mu bakongo. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this opportunity. I know this is not a political forum. This is a tech forum that crosses all boundaries. Allow me to give just 1 minute to my nephew, Groif Abdurrahman here, to just say a word and introduce himself because he just accompanied me to this forum. When I was in London and he heard I was coming, he said, Dad, now. Just introduce yourself and tell them what you do. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Groif Abdurrahman. Like Uncle said, when he was in London the previous week, I heard he was coming to UNAA. I was like, what's UNAA? And he explained to me about the the people that come here, the type of information and knowledge that's being shared. And I said, you know what, I have to tag along, Uncle. You can't leave without me. So 24 hours later, here I am in America, you know. And I just wanted to briefly introduce myself because there were so many interesting projects being spoken about. I had Kevin, I had Karen speaking about the amazing work they're doing with technology. And just a bit about myself, I'm currently doing a PhD in the application of AI in real-world scenarios. Now, we're currently looking into team performance in serious games. Has anybody here ever been to the escape room before? No? Yes? Sorry, right now we're analyzing data in team performance in escape rooms using AI. You may or you may not know, but companies right now are using team performance games to improve their performance in the corporate environment, and the escape room is one of these. The escape room is one of these tools they're using, and I'm using artificial intelligence techniques to analyze these kind of performances. Now, I just wanted to also say that with that being said, I'm in my last year, and it's amazing that there's many Ugandans also working in tech, and my plan after my PhD is to start a consultant firm, briefly discussing these advantages and disadvantages of applying these AI techniques in different scenarios, in airport industries, in factories, for entrepreneurs, for like-minded people that are here today. So I just wanted to make my presence be known because there's so much information being shared, and I would like to enrich my network with all of this information being shared with my skills and the techniques that I could be able to share. So thank you once again for today, and enjoy the rest of the convention.
This young man is doing a PhD in artificial intelligence. So, because you see they speak very fast, people don't even understand what they are saying. I was inspired by another young man who is in cloud computing, and our young children, those ones I met since the other year, the Chimundas, and we are very proud of you because we can see the journey, the trajectory of the journey. Allow me, Honorable Minister, sir, and members of our diplomatic community, Palestinian in Uganda, here in the United States, officials from the State House, members of UNAA, ladies and gentlemen. I will be brief about content creation because Dr. Kim Kalisa has talked about it vastly, but also legislation towards content creation. Is content creation a source of wealth? Yes. Can it employ as many people as possible? Yes. Is it an opportunity in the offing in Africa? Amazing. How can we harness from it? We can talk about this topic till cows come back home. But the reality is, for every innovation, for every business, for everything that you do, you want exposure now. By virtue of a simple question, let me ask every one of you here, who of you has used a computer before? Just raise up your hand and don't fear. Who of you has used a computer? Don't hear. Wanika mkono wanasili uzo mfawala. Wanika mkono watu wanika kwa jitu. Sinapa tena kuuza banyaba nuku simamu fawala alikuwa. I'm asking who of you has used a computer before? Don't say all of us. Wanika mkono is right. Who has not? How many don't know? Okay, how many of you at least have held a mobile phone? Mwenna, kitegeza mwenna mukozesezzaako ku computer. Kakati mukitegedde ekyo nti we have what we call the computer in the name of the computer, but all of us will agree that nearly everyone has used the mini portable computer. Now, whatever we look for here, 90% of us, when we go here, other than searching out for our contacts, going on to read emails, etc., what else do we vouch for on mainly the smartphone? We look for content. Content, whether positive or negative, it's content. You're either on TikTok or WhatsApp or Facebook or Twitter. You're looking out for content. Now, the content is diverse. It might be about marketing, it might be about health, it might be about sports, etc. So, are we really leveraging in this generation called content, how we transform it, how we harness money from it, and how we monetize it? Where is our leverage? That's why I was talking about the educational application that was being introduced by one of the Mr. Kakai. That part of it, other than looking at the infrastructure, there is something is provided which is called content. Therefore, behind that, there will be employment for content providers. So the stream of technology will have the innovators, infrastructure producers, and then those that upload the content that is desirable for us to consume. Now, where do we find ourselves? Unfortunately, in this chain, Africa and Uganda finds itself at the bottom part of the chain, that we innovate nothing, we don't innovate infrastructure, we don't innovate the algorithm or code. Finally, the only thing we do is to consume, from hardware to software. Now, that means there is a gap. Definitely, it means that we feed the telecoms that provide us with data. Because for every content you consume, you rely on picking from your pocket to pay for the expensive data. Therefore, who harnesses more? It is the telecoms, the service providers. Okay, the VIP. Now, secondly, do we produce anything from this infrastructure, the hardware? Nothing. Can we start at least somewhere? That's why we are proud of these Katambas. Katambas forgotten me when it came to the issue of cows. Katamba has made a very good innovation. Madam Isiko talks about something that is integral. If we do not protect his intellectual property rights, it will be all in vain. But the ladder has been set up such a way that it is easier to process intellectual property rights in the first world than in the third world. Because in as much as you innovate, if you don't have a partnership here and come up, for example, with a social media application, it will not be easily accessible here because the laws are so stringent on data protection in the United States and Europe. Therefore, in as much as we know that there is switching in the algorithm of social media, for example, I'll give you an example. You should ask yourself that some companies or individuals, I know Mr. Kauma here, has, let's say, 5,000 followers on Facebook. But at times, plus, how many followers do you have on Facebook, my brother? 5,000, 10,000. But Mr. Kauma can post a video and find there 2 views. Because there is someone who is responsible for that algorithm there. Because what is the magic? That when Mr. Kauma posts a video, it is only viewed by 2 people. Meaning there is a problem with someone notifying Kauma's followers as to whether he has posted or not. Now, that algorithm is played about by the back end of these companies. Why? Because if Mr. Kauma pushes a video and it's viewed by 1 million people when he has 10,000 followers, everyone will go to advertise with Mr. Kauma. So they do selective ring fencing and guarding. They pick on you and select and throw it there, and then they twitch. And you say, I'm posting videos, they take it down. 2, because they access our data through the content that we put, the analytics that they have help them resell your data to producers or to companies, etc. And this is where commercialization of data. I remember when the legislative agenda here in the United States was obsessed with TikTok. and bite dance. The issue is very clear, is that you cannot have over 100 million young people of your country on an application that consumes not only their data, but also their behavioral mode for 8 hours a day. Because they will know that definitely 90% of them prefer to wear blue. When I'm there, they will see that I'm wearing a logo of Nike. So definitely the behavioral pattern, they will start knowing the behavioral pattern and the influence. They will send you messages that are attractive to you and persuasive to the cause that they want to have. Now, is content a threat to government or not? No. There is a small borderline between freedom of speech and content itself. Is it absolute? Can we look at the recent riots in the UK, which were based on racist views on social media? And someone says, I'm not responsible for them. I'm not interfering within the internal politics of certain countries, but the reality is that more than 5,000 people have been arrested in the UK for the utterances they made. By saying because someone is of color, someone is black, they don't deserve to be in the UK, and that when you find them, you should do something to them. And people were attacked. Others were injured, others were assaulted. So the borderline between responsive reporting, misinformation, etc. Technology is moving faster than legislation, and that is the reality. Because like someone said, the young people know each and every single way to navigate. Finally, when we look at the issue of freedom of speech, who in the world would have thought that France would arrest the owner of Telegram, Duro, by saying he's responsible for the content of 1 billion users on this platform? But I know that Facebook, X, and everyone are hosting people that are sending toxic messages in other countries. Therefore, shall we send that signal that countries will be able to issue arrest warrants for owners of platforms? Is that the freedom of speech that we are trying to spread in the entire world? Therefore, we are trying to walk a thin line between freedom of speech and spread of misinformation. Now, that is what we have to come to the room and talk about. Are we ready for this? Are we ready for our children? Everyone is grappling with the issue of children having mobile phones. Can we reverse the clock? No way. Therefore, what safety measures can we deploy at the moment to know that we shall keep our children safe and secure from what they consume here? Content. Because the issue is not for them having a phone to call, for them having a phone to study. Now it's the content. Where are the boundaries of the content? Okay? Some people are there busy inspiring young children on how to use drugs, how to do sexual acts, etc. Where is the borderline? I think everyone must finally grapple with that. Finally, commercialization of content and price discrimination. Content in the USA and in Europe is paid for more than content in Africa. And the reason they share is that there are less advertisers that have the appetite to advertise in Africa compared to these jurisdictions. Therefore, how can we help? Recently, we launched what we call a content creators program, where we trained 146 young content creators who are given who got awards and certificates on how to create content, how to commercialize it, and how to network. Probably one sets up an account, like them, young content creators, comedians. For example, I can give you an example of 10 and 10. You've all heard of 10? You've heard of 10. How have you heard of a gentleman called 10, a young man called 10? Yeah. So Uganda has a young personality called 10. And 10, within a period of 6 months, clicked the notch of about 2 million followers. the young man. But you see, his rights were not protected, and the content that was issued was not earning them money through commercialization until he went and registered his account in Dubai. You understand? In Uganda, they were making some money, but too little, until they moved him to UAE and commercialized his account from the UAE that he made more money. And we have very many comedians. Finally, we make much of our content in local language, which is the local dialects, which does not cross many boundaries. We should copy the Nigerian style. They talk less, but they try to add something and use their dialects. The reason is, however bad their English is, they want to communicate so that everyone understands. So, for us, we end up sending out our content in Uganda, in Nyachitara, in Ruchika. But for consumption of about 5 to 10 million people within our what? Our circle. Therefore, if we want our content to move across boundaries, let us adopt the English version of our content. So that we make it in English or in a language that is globally understood. With those few remarks, I would like to thank the organizers of the UNAA and the Tech Forum. We started young, it's grown big, and congratulations to all of you. May the good Lord bless you for God. No question.